Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? Um, how is your lives going? How are your dates going? How is the male loneliness epidemic going? Um, how is your sex life? How is your love life? Any unrequited loves in your life? Um, uh, any imminent breakups about to happen? Um, are you guys cheating? Are you guys wishing you could cheat? Are you wishing someone would cheat with you? Any, threesomes or any salacious things going on, in Las Vegas? Any orgies or clubs? Uh-oh, this live's probably about to get taken down now that it's an orgy, but oh well. All right, guys. Any scenes, any play parties, what's going on in your lives? Any times where you had a breakthrough moment where you understood the female gaze, where before you just thought women are emotional beings and they're crazy? Um, any times you realized your own male blind spots and you thought, thanks to my non-leather life, I avoided this horrible incident. So, guys, get your questions in. It's the AMA. And perhaps a quiz if the AMA gets boring, but you never know, guys. Personally, I'm feeling a bit lonely tonight. I'm not sure why. So I decided, let me get on here. And hopefully you guys can cheer me up with some insults, with some laughs. Just kidding, guys. You don't have to insult me if you don't want to. However, if you do, watch out. You may get blocked. I'm sorry. But I don't know. Maybe I'll be in a good mood and I'll just roll with the punches. So, all right, guys. So let's see if there's any questions in the chat. Oh, we got RH in the chat. He says, recently started seeing someone. First 2 weeks, we went on a lot of dates. What does it mean if they start to pull back? Well, RH, it could mean a couple of things. One, first possibility, she decided she doesn't like you and she's trying to slowly, phase you out. She doesn't want to be direct. She doesn't want to be confrontational, but she's hoping you get the message it's over. Okay, that's just one possibility. Second possibility, she got busy. Okay, she literally got busy. Third possibility, she doesn't like that you're expecting her to do 50% of the reaching out, and she's playing hard to get. Number one, most classic, most typical dating strategy. Number four, I mean, there's so many possibilities here. She's been watching a lot of Shira 7. She found out you're not going to spend money on her, and she's moving on, all right? Really, the scenarios are infinite. Unless I see the text messages, it would be hard to pinpoint exactly what it is in your case, but those are some top options, guys. So If you want to get a consultation, you can send me the screenshots and we will go line by line and I can pinpoint usually with great accuracy exactly what is happening here. So Roughneck Delta says, RH, that's not a good sign. Don't try to chase after her. Move on. Well, unfortunately, Roughneck Delta, you could be right and you could be dead wrong. Ricardo Mango says, hi, non-leather. Please, guys, it's non-leather, not leather. It's the opposite of leather over here. I had a girlfriend that was full into me, submissive, and everything was fine until I say, I love you. After 7 months, she always called me love. Anyway, after that, she broke up with me. Okay, that doesn't, I feel like something's not adding up there, Ricardo. You're saying she was fully into you, but the second you said, I love you, she pulled away. I mean, maybe she was super avoidant, possibly. I don't know. It's an unusual situation for sure, because usually if a girl is super into you, super into the sex, then you saying, I love you is not going to be the deciding factor. So I don't know exactly. I mean, did you start acting differently after you said, I love you? Did the dynamic shift suddenly where she was like, telling you something, like she was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that? Like, did she say anything after you said, I love you? Like something must have shifted. Something must have changed. What was it? Give me some more detail, Ricardo. So Kuro says, why do more and more people on dating apps ask for friendship only? Well, if women are doing that, it could be because they are sick of men leading with sex. Okay, because difference between the male and the female gaze, most women, not all, most feel uncomfortable making, an appointment for casual sex with a guy they don't know on an online dating app who they've never met in person. Okay. So saying friendship only can kind of weed out guys who are only looking for a hookup, only looking for casual sex, which, let's be honest, that's most guys, right? So, on the dating apps, that's mostly what, let's just say that's the majority of what women are encountering. Okay. So friendship only can just basically tell guys, send the message, cool it, let's put on the brakes. I want to get to know you as a person first because I'm looking for a long-term relationship. And of course, some people may be looking for just friendship, but both of those could apply. So, okay. Hello, Bill Cutting. Ricardo says, yes, the I love you was the turn off, but give me some more details. Like, what else was going on around there? I mean, did she say to you, I can't be in love because my past, or because I've always run from relationships when people say they're in love with? Did she tell you anything, or did she just boom disappear like a ghost? I kind of doubt it, but could be wrong. RH says, I stopped messaging her because she pulled away. She messaged me this week to grab lunch today, but canceled today. Okay, is she playing too many games? Should I just stop pursuing? Okay, RH, yes, this is kind of what I was guessing. So you stopped messaging her because she pulled away. First of all, I see many situations like this in my consultations where the girl is just doing what girls do, which is wait for the guy to lead and wait for the guy to pursue. The guy perceives that as, oh, this is a slight to me. This is an affront. She's not showing enough interest in me. She's not interested. Boom. They stop messaging, just like you. However, she was still interested because she messaged you, and then she canceled today. She's probably teetering on, I like this guy. I played hard to get, so he would pursue me. He didn't take the bait. And finally, I cracked under the pressure. I reached out, asked him to grab lunch, but he still acted very cold and not pursuing me enough. So then I went back and said, no, I shouldn't do this. I should listen to Shira 7 and not pursue guys and just forget the whole thing. So is she playing too many games? Should I just stop pursuing? in my opinion, obviously I can't know for certain without seeing the text messages are aged, but it seems to me like she is just doing the normal amount of games that the majority of women will play, and they're going to play the same game. So, should you stop pursuing? You should decide whether or not you want to engage in the game called dating, because this is the game that will be being played the majority of the time. And if you think that's too many games, then get off the football field or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying, guys? That's the game. Don't call it, oh, this is just games. I'm out. Play the game or stop playing the game, okay? This is the game. Yes. So, anyway, Kawhi says, didn't have time for dates lately, but I've been talking to two very cute girls. Judging by subtle hints, there's a potential there. I don't want to overchase them and let them come at their own pace. Horrible idea, Kawhi. I'm sorry. And then he says, and dating is not my number one priority, so that's that. Kawhi, I'll tell you something. That is a very stupid idea, okay? You're talking to two very cute girls. You shouldn't just be talking without asking them on the date. Do you know what I'm saying? Unless you've decided we're going to sext or this is going to try to be like a hookup only. But you should be trying to meet up in person. I mean, if you're just talking to a girl, the girl is going to start thinking, what is wrong with this guy? Why isn't he asking me out? Why isn't he asking me to actually meet? So don't, when it gets down to you reading subtle hints, you know there's a problem. Okay, you know you've let this go on way too long. By the time you're reading subtle hints, that's a very bad sign, in my opinion. Okay, you don't want to be talking long enough to get any subtle hints. You want to ask her on a date, you want to meet in person, ask her to hang out, whatever situation is going on there, do something in person, and then you'll have more information. So Ricardo says, okay, so L, oh, less is more. Thank you so much for your super chat. And he says, I know Mother's Day is officially tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day. That is so kind of you. Less is more. You're going to make me cry right now. Oh my God. So sweet. Yes, it is my first Mother's Day tomorrow. Very special day for me. Got the most beautiful baby in the world. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate that kind acknowledgement. Very kind of you. What's your real name? Less is more. Do I know you, or have you just been let me know something. Let me know some more about you. Less is more. Okay. So let's see. Any other questions? Ricardo says, yes, she said that was a big deal and she wasn't prepared to love again. She had just two boyfriends, but very traumatic. Until today, she reached out to me after a month, but it just seems off, just friends. Okay, Ricardo, I think this is a good sign. Okay, so she literally told you that she's not prepared to love again. Okay, so she's scared. She's not sure if she can do it. She was kind of like in love with you, but then when it came time where it's like, okay, let's do this thing, she was like, I can't, and she ran away. Then today she reached out to you after a month, but seems off. Well, she's still thinking about you. Okay, you can know that. You can know that, you're not, she's not over you, that's for sure, because she reached out. Yes, there's a slight possibility that she's totally over you and just reaching out as friends. Probably not. She probably still wants, sex and everything. So don't read too much into it. If you want to meet up with her again, make it happen. Don't say, oh, it seems off. Well, you said you loved her, so I don't know. Maybe it's hard for you, but there's still a chance there. If you guys meet up again, it can get going again. So, yeah. So then Based Harsh says, do you know sometimes women are going through something and they want to just vent out emotionally, maybe about a simple problem, but try to solve it with logic, but women just want to be vulnerable. Yes, based harsh. I mean, guys, please, please. I need you all. I'm gonna have to drop a massive truth bomb on y'all here. I need you guys to be better than this, okay? This is simple. This is basic, all right? I need you guys all to stop with whenever I hear someone venting, I must fix it with logic. That's not even emotionally intelligent, okay? I don't know if men like it. Okay, maybe they do, but I can tell you that 100% of women, and probably a lot of men too, find it annoying, okay? Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong about the men thing, but nobody likes, when they're just venting to have somebody tell them what to do. Okay, first you got to acknowledge them, first you got to validate them. You just got to say, I love you, I'm there for you. Let's hear it. I'm here to listen. You got to be supportive. This is basic emotional skills. So I kind of feel like in female cultures, there's this thing where it's like, oh my gosh, this dress has pockets. Wow, I love dresses with pockets. Literally ad nauseum. Anytime a woman wears a dress with pockets, just like she's a zombie, she has to say, I love dresses with pockets. Oh my gosh, pockets. And that's what I feel like you guys are like with when I hear a problem, I must fix it. It's like, is it just because other guys say that? I don't know, guys, but it's stupid. It's straight up stupid. Do not try to tell anyone else who has a problem. Ironic, I'm saying this as I'm doing it, right? But nobody likes it, okay? Unless they're asking for advice, which I'm literally asking you. I'm giving advice, so you're consenting, right? But yes, women don't want you to fix anything. They want to share. They want to connect. They want to share in each other's lives. They want you to track their lives and them to track your life. Okay, that's what a relationship is. It's like a deep remembering of what's going on in each other's lives, a deep understanding of thoughts and feelings. Okay, it's not, well, okay, shut up about your feelings. Let me tell you what to do. Okay, nobody likes that, guys. All right, I said enough, right? But hopefully you guys get it. Just throw it in the trash, this whole fixing the problem thing. Okay? A problem is fixed by you simply understanding deeply and perfectly her thoughts and feelings. The problem will evaporate. I tell you that. I'm so mad right now. I'm so mad. Okay, moving on. So Ricardo says, yes, I'm not prepared to be in love again, but not disappear. Until today, talk with me. Okay, and it seems off. So Ricardo, just take it slow, okay? Uh-oh, I hear the baby. Base Tar says, oh, okay. Kawhi says, is that the kiss by Gustav Klimt behind you? Yes, it is, Kawhi. Very good. An art lover, I see. Fortunately, David, he hates this. He calls it couch man. He doesn't appreciate art, does he? Buck says, hello. May I ask what are some of the most attractive things for a guy have? Not nice guy stuff. Thank you very much. Great question, Buck. The most attractive things that a guy can have and not nice guy. So if we're talking alpha in love, we're not going to talk about the in love stuff. We're going to talk about the alpha stuff. Okay. Looks, money, status, grit, sex skills, dating etiquette skills, understanding the female gaze. I don't really think that's nice guy stuff because that includes kind of like the Chad alpha stuff as well. Confidence, everyone says that, right? But they like that. It's an aphrodisiac, am I right? Calmness. Those are some good ones, right? What is that, Kevin? That app? Uh-oh. Thank you, Alec. That's so nice. Then Kevin says, okay, Ricardo. Kevin says, I have a friend with benefits for 15 years. I love her, but we rarely have conversations. Only chit-chat. She's distant, but texts every day. I can't figure her out. Oh, she definitely loves the sex, Kevin. I'll tell you that. That is interesting. So you don't know like anything more about her? Like, have you tried to be like, it's been 15 years. Like, we deserve to get to know each other. Let's just like go out and chat. Like, have you ever tried something like that, Kevin? Yeah. Uh-oh, might have to go. Guys, I might have to go because the little baby's about to come in. Okay. Hi, Dad.
Hey, did you start live?
Yeah. You want to come in?
How long? It's probably not good timing. How long you been on?
21 minutes. My beauty is hungry.
Probably.
Do a breastfeed live. Oh, my beauty. Interesting. Okay, guys, well.
There's no milk available, right?
No. Well, I'll feed him while I'm going to live.
Mm-hmm.
I'll feed him while I'm
Fine with me?
live.
Okay.
Okay, well, maybe I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's time to get back in the kitchen, woman.
Oh, then, but I want to just feed him and then in 5 minutes and you come in the live and we can do it together.
What?
Like, I'll feed him for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then you come back and we'll do the live together.
What do you mean come back?
Because I figured you'll leave when I'm feeding him.
Who's gonna watch? Who's gonna watch him while we do the live?
Both of us.
If that's what you want.
Okay. Buck G. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Do I do it right, Buck? Thank you so much. You are so sweet. I really appreciate that. He said, Happy Mother's Day.
Right.
Aww. Thanks, Buck. You guys are so kind.
Okay, so we're gonna come back. You're gonna do the live.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn off the screen and I'm gonna feed the poor beauty, and then he'll probably be done. And then
You're gonna leave the live running?
Yeah, because I don't want to delete everyone's questions.
Okay.
Guys, we have to take a 5-minute intermission.
You're really gonna be able to do it in 5?
I think.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for my super chats. Thank you so much for all the questions. I will be back in 5 minutes. Okay, guys.
We'll both be back in 5 minutes, I guess.
And whoops, my bad. And David and Beardo will be back as well.
And Tristan.
And the poor beauty, aka Tristan. Okay, bye guys. Well, I'll be back, so just maybe.
It's not bye. It's
bye for now.
Bye for now.
Get yourself a nice vegan hot chocolate or energy drink or whatever you guys drink out there. Adult beverages. I forgot people drink that. Yes, absolutely. Knock back a shot or two. Come on, guys. We'll be back. All right. Bye.
For now.
Okay. Well, you'll actually be able to hear us, but all right. Yeah.
You're gonna do it right there.
Oh yeah. I have this thing so no one can see.
Well then maybe you just do it like audio only.
Yeah, audio only. Okay, let's do it. Somebody said, "Get that milker."
Are you sure the video is off?
Yeah, it's off. See, I have this. See, look.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh no, the Tristers. He showed his face on camera.
Yeah.
My beauty. Oh. Okay. All right. They can take some questions. See. Oh no, Trister's gonna go crazy for the computer. Trister loves the computer. Interesting. Oh no, Trister. Trister. Guys, the only problem is Trister loves typing on the computer, so. Oh no. Uh-oh. He's going to try to come on the live, guys. Okay. Oh no. Not this, the Chester. Oh no, David, he's trying to. Oh no. Oh, David. There, he's going crazy for the computer. My baby. Oh, my baby. Just the perfect one. Oh no. Oh no. If anyone can hear me, we're taking a brief hiatus. But, okay.
Is anybody still
Yeah.
listening?
Yeah, you can answer some questions, okay?
All right.
But don't turn on the screen.
I mean, you could get out of like camera view, and then we actually turn the screen back on.
Okay, sure. How about that? But don't turn it my way. Okay.
Oh.
What?
There's stuff on that chair.
Okay.
Stuff that maybe you shouldn't sit on. I don't know. Remember.
The truth is, all the computers are going crazy.
All right, look. I was gonna wait to do this tomorrow. This is one of your Mother's Day presents. Don't show it.
Okay.
How do you move this thing? Oh, I guess I did. All right, so you stumbled across it, so I'm gonna give it to you now. Okay. All right. Pinch weasel. That's a Seinfeld reference. Elaine's lies aren't working, so she needs George to come in and lie for her. All right, what do we got? What do we got? I am between 5'9" and 5'10". Victoria is 5'7". Answering the question, how tall are you? Kuro00 says stream might end. Oh no. Apparently we're very, very committed to the stream. Is Beardo a vegan also? Beardo is a part-time vegan. When I am with Victoria, I do my best to be vegan, but other times, no. Big boy Sig, I was just about to ask a question. No, go ahead and ask it. Victoria is off camera. Oh, here's a super chat. Hooray. Thank you, Andrew Kane.
Oh, you know Andrew Kane.
I know him.
Well, you should know him. He's my friend of sorts. Really more like my client, but a friend and a client.
All right, Andrew Kane, question for Beardo. How to give commands in the bedroom. I just can't imagine being taken seriously. Lol. This is a very good question.
Perfect question. This guy is very good.
Okay. The first thing you have to understand is that being dominant, for the most part, is dominating somebody into doing something she wanted to do already. Okay? Like, someone isn't a submissive to do something that she doesn't want to do. She's submissive to do something that she wants to do, you know? So with giving commands and being taken seriously, first of all, my advice is start slow and small with anything that's, kind of BDSM or, like dark energy or whatever, right? Like, um, sometimes like you're with somebody and you just kind of get the sense that she wants to be manhandled a little bit, right? So what you don't do is like take it straight to 10, right? Instead, like move her a little bit or squeeze her shoulders or something a little bit, you know. You don't like just immediately just go and start choking somebody, right? You like put your hand like here and see how she reacts. Don't put any pressure, just put your hand there and then move it away, right? See uh if it seems like she was kind of like leaning into it, right? So with the commands, you want to try and be giving her commands to do something she already wanted to do in the first place, right? And you start with small things and you work your way up. Now, occasionally, you'll be in a situation where you jump right into the big commands, you jump right into the very BDSM stuff, but you got to know who you're dealing with, what kind of circumstance you're in. Maybe you've set it up ahead of time, and then you can really like do something out of a romance novel or an erotic fiction story or whatever. But if it's somebody that you don't know or you're not sure what ground you're on, you just take it slow. You build up. It's like the runway that Victoria talks about.
Great answer, Nick.
All right.
My beauty. I did.
Okay, like for instance, maybe you're pretty sure she wants you to go down on her, right? So you order her to open her legs and you do it, right? So
you should do it slowly.
Well, it depends on the circumstance. Okay. He's asking about orders, right? There's nothing wrong with doing it slowly either. But if you're trying to establish this dominance thing where you're giving orders, All right. Hope that was a good answer, Andrew, and thank you for the super chat. Victoria will put it in Tristan's college fund. Beardo, why do women put friendship only on dating apps?
I already answered this one.
Oh, you did?
I'll be interested to hear your response.
Okay. All our answers on these, men, women thing, it's always like broad in the main, like, what do you call it? Normal curves, right? So not every woman is the same, but not every man is the same, but men and women have kind of different priorities, different goals in relationships. A woman can get sex anytime she wants. Okay. So that's not like a super high priority for most women. Somebody who like cares about her or will take care of her is a totally different thing. So, maybe a woman wants some male friendships and so she posts on a dating app. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a woman posting on a dating app that I want only friends, but that would be my guess.
Well, I already gave my answer, but
or maybe she wants to go the really slow route, friendship first.
That's what they want to rule out guys who just want sex and lead with sex and who expect sex and
right.
who think that like sex is like on the table in the first couple dates. So they basically are saying, I want to take it very slow and I want a long-term relationship.
Yeah, it makes sense. Lucky Prime. I went on 2 dates with a woman. She told me today she just wanted a friendship. Would it have made a difference if I tried to make a move on the first date? Wow.
Yeah, it actually probably would.
Yeah, that's not good. Lucky Prime. Like the world that we live in, the men are expected to be the ones to make the move, right? So if you're playing that role of like the man who is the aggressor, then she can feel like the woman who is in the position of accepting or rejecting, right? And like that's the way things typically work. It doesn't always have to work that way. You can find somebody who's a woman and she likes to be in the driver's seat. That's fine. But typically like the man has to be the one to ask her out. The man has to be the one to pay for the dinner. The man is typically the one who does the driving and the picking up of the woman and all that stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, like, you got to find ways to make moves. Even I really suggest like building up, the runway type thing. I really suggest trying to kiss the woman on the first date. Well, not well before, but at some point before you're like dropping her off. Like if you wait until like you drop her off and then you're trying to kiss her, it puts a lot of pressure on that moment. I highly recommend, being handsy isn't exactly the right word, but like initiating physical contact in non-erogenous zone, putting your arm around her shoulder or in the small of her back kind of thing, and just build up from there. See how she reacts to those small things and then move on to bigger things.
Do you want to switch with
Yeah, good. All right, looks like the star of the show is coming back.
You can join in too. I just wonder if we could both get in.
Well, yeah, but you can take over.
But I can't really like wheel this chair over and stuff with twisters in.
Leehorn, I would be scared to hurt a woman that way. You never know what they might say if things don't work out. Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you don't just jump in, you don't leap before you look, right? You figure out, like, through slow testing things, like maybe you're with somebody who likes to get like smacked when you're having sex, right? But you're not sure. So you don't just like smack the shit out of her without knowing what's going on. You like, give her a little push, right? You give her then if that seems good, you give her a little smack, like if you don't know what she's going to react, if she's going to, get upset or, accuse you of the R word afterwards, then you have to be careful. But you can build up to these things even on first encounters. Believe me, you can. Okay, for either both of you, a woman I'm fond of the work has said to me in conversations numerous times, I was going to text you. We have each other's numbers and have texted before, so I'm lost. People say things that they don't mean because they're trying to be polite or help you save face or avoid an uncomfortable situation.
You take the twisters from me? You take the beauty?
Grant Goldberg. The last thing I want to see is a dude. Where's the woman? I am with you, Grant. We're about to switch.
But you're going to be seeing a dude as well. Oh, and don't say anything bad about dudes now that I have a dude as a son. Never say anything bad about men. I have to renounce all man hating because I have a son. So, I'm back. Okay. So, guys, what did I miss? Thanks, Beardo. Lucky Prime says. Eric G calls you Yo Beardo the Brown. Okay, guys. Any questions for me? Any questions for Beardo? Get him in. You're free for all. It's a free for all. You can ask me free questions. You can say whatever you want. It's literally free speech. For real. Vargan says, good question, Vargan. He says, what do women think when men cold approach? Do they assume we're just looking for sex? Truth bomb, Vargan. It's about to get real up in here. Well, guys, pop quiz, everyone. Get your answers in. Answer Vargan's questions right now. You got 10 seconds. Do women assume when men cold approach that you're just looking for sex? Yes or no? Do they assume we're just looking for sex? Yes or no? Get it in. Get it in. Get it in. Buck says yeah. Lucky Prime says depends. Mo says yes. Kevin says yes. Roughneck Delta says yes.
I feel like we need a little more context.
I don't. David, what's
What-
your answer? Because you might be dead wrong as well.
Like, where are we at? Are we at like a bar or a club?
Doesn't matter
I think it does.
because you're a man.
And what is the approach? Is it like some pickup line, or is it like, "Excuse me, miss, I think you dropped your fork"?
Okay, yeah, you're making some good points. You're making some fair points, David. I agree. However, I'm talking about in the majority. What do women assume 80% of the time when a guy cold approaches them, like walks up to them, like on the street, not just like shouts.
Is he wearing a conductor's uniform and they're on
No.
the train?
He's not
And
just.
he says, "Miss, may I see your ticket?"
No, he's not like shouting at her from a construction site. He's not just like sitting on the stoop being like, throwing a pickup line. It's a guy who walks up to her and starts talking to her. Get your answers in. Is it yes or no? Everybody has said yes except Nubian Indeed, who said no. Oh my gosh, could Nubian Indeed be humiliated, or is he the only one who's sane in the entire chat?
I would say in most situations, can I give my answer?
Yes, David, you may give your
I
answer.
would say in most situations the answer is no.
I thought you were saying yes.
Huh?
I thought you were saying yes before.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's all kinds of situations where a woman has no conception at all that anybody is around her is thinking about sex. Whereas if they're like in a dance club or something, and a guy approaches her, maybe certain bars and stuff, then yes, right? She's with her friends, and she and her friends are together, so they have an easy way to kind of like pull together and reject men that are approaching them. But most of the time, like, if before we got together, let's say, I see a hot woman and I sit down in the seat next to her and I start talking to her, I'm talking to her because I think she's sexy. She probably has no conception. She just thinks I'm another human being, and she's not thinking about sex. So why would she think that I'm thinking about sex?
So, final answer. Truly, you have a dizzying intellect. No, just kidding. Just kidding. It was a good answer. Okay, dude. So, is your answer no? She does not think he wants sex?
My answer is, in most circumstances, no. She's not thinking about sex.
Okay. And what do you grade yourself for that answer?
You grade me.
Okay. The grade is A. Just plain A, dude. Because you got everything right at the last second. I thought you were going a different direction. But you got one thing wrong. Okay. And that's at the club. You said like, oh, didn't you say that they kind of assume at the club it's going to be about sex?
Yeah.
They don't. Boom! Truth bomb for you guys. I'm sorry, but everyone but Beardo and Nubian Indeed and Lucky Prime and perhaps Robert Walker, everyone else was wrong, guys, and y'all get Fs. I'm sorry. And everyone else gets A's, and Nubian Indeed gets the A+ for going against the crowd first. Okay? Going against the grain. Guys, here's the truth, okay? Women do not know anything about men, okay? They listen to Shira 7 and they're like, this can't possibly be true. This is hilarious. This is entertaining. I don't believe it. They don't believe it, guys. They don't think men are just interested in sex. People have told them, oh, men are just interested in one thing. So they're going, la, 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 la. No, they're not. My man will be interested in a deep, loving connection on a farm in nature and raising children and homeschooling or whatever they're thinking about, they do not know the reality of men. So, no, they do not assume that you're thinking, wow, what a nice shape. I see circles. I see a triangle. I see juicy circles.
4 lumps.
I see 4 lumps. I need this so bad, or whatever you're thinking. They don't have any effing clue you are thinking that. So the answer is no, guys. You all just learned something tonight, and I schooled all of you except Nubian Indeed, possibly Robert Walker, possibly Lucky Prime, and David. All right, guys, so what are your thoughts on that? Andrew Kane says, wow, that was a big truth bomb. Thank you, Andrew Kane. I hope it rocked your world. Yeah, they don't know, guys. They don't know. So, White Knight Media says, it's the whole denial thing, I guess. Nope. Because in order to deny something, you have to understand it, and then you have to deny it.
Projection.
However, they don't understand it. So how can they deny it if they don't know it and they don't understand it? What is there to deny? It's the whole ignorance thing. It's the whole ignorance thing about male culture. Do you see what I'm saying? And guys, don't get too high on your high horses, because are you guys possibly ignorant about female culture? Well, I don't want to put you down, but a lot of you are very ignorant as well. So we're all ignoramuses in some ways. All right. White Knight Media says they have access to the truth and reject it. You have access to the truth right now, and you're rejecting it because you're trying to push your narrative that women, are in denial, they know it, and they're just bad people. Maybe I'm reading into this too much, White Knight. Just understand, women don't know much about men. Why? They don't need to, because you guys are horn dogs and approaching them anyway. Okay? If you all just became like celibate and actually went your own way until, women learned all the fine intricacies of male culture, maybe things would shift, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen.
But wait, Victoria, Are you telling me that 8s are being approached by men?
Yes, guys, if you can believe it, guess what? 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s are being approached by men.
Wait a second, Victoria.
Yep.
You're telling me 1s are being approached by men?
1s are being solicited for sex and everything else, guys. 1s are sadly actually targeted for sex, I think, sadly, because it's like people think, oh, nice, there's my chance.
But Victoria, what if she's over 100 pounds?
Yep, and she's over 200 pounds and she's over 300 pounds. Guess what? They're all doing well as well. So yeah. All right, guys. So hopefully you're not reeling and like crying, screaming, throwing up. I don't know. All right. So Errol says, so men and women are in general completely oblivious to the perspective of the other? Pretty much, Errol. Yes. A+ for that. So, Robert Walker says, men are from Mars, women from Venus.
Did you just make that up?
Yes, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I actually read all his books last year, and guess what? They're pretty good. They have flaws, but actually he's pretty smart and pretty fun to read. James says, it almost sounds like you're blaming the men. In what sense, James? Elaborate. JB Weld says, I've never banged a fat chick. Wouldn't either. Thick is nice, but not blimps. What's your response, dude?
Any fat chick could get way more sex than just about any guy.
Of course.
Here,
So James says, if women didn't assume men wanted sex, then why would they have their guard up? There's other reasons. Okay. They are afraid men will kill them, guys. Perhaps that's a massive truth bomb for you as well. They're massively afraid of men. They see men as kind of like, hopefully this doesn't send any of you guys into a raging depression or anything, but this is subconscious, guys. But subconsciously, they see men as like violent sex offenders, basically. This live is really going to get taken down, but that's pretty much why they have their guard up, okay? Because they see men as volatile. They see men as potentially, like, if they do happen to want sex and they get rejected for sex, like, they're going to lash out. They're going to get angry. They're going to get violent. That's why a lot of women are scared of men. They think they're, like, sex obsessed. They think they're not, like, right in the head, basically.
The guy who said I've never banged a fat chick.
Yeah.
We want to bet he's white.
Okay. Happy says, how do you, GB Welch, is that true? Confirm or deny? So Happy says, how do you ask for body count? Dude, what's your answer?
You date the person for a couple months first.
Good answer. Happy, you get rid of the insecurity by taking some courses in sex skills. Okay? Start off by reading the book Becoming Cliterate by Dr. Lori Mintz. Okay? You will not be afraid of her body count anymore. You will simply realize I can blow these guys out of the water easy because I know where the clit is and they don't. All right? It's not hard, guys. It's really not hard. As long as you know where the clit is, you're going to be ahead of 95% of all men. Okay? Because a lot of guys think they know where it is, but they don't. They're like, mm-hmm. And guys, I'm telling you, I know it's actually hard to find. Like, I actually had trouble finding it myself, which I felt stupid about. I'm like, wow, I am contributing to the orgasm gap. Not in myself, another person, I couldn't find it. So I know it's hard, but work on it and you'll be better off than all men. So JB Wells says, my sister's a fat chick, by the way. JB, literally, why are you trying to be like a massive piece of shit? Like, zero empathy for your sister. Like, it's just sad. I put up with a lot from you, but this is wrong. It's just awful.
You would have never used that language when I met you.
So what do you think happened?
I think I corrupted you.
I still don't actually like to say shit, but I do sometimes. Yeah, I don't really swear that much, although I do enjoy saying the F word a lot on the lives.
Whoa.
So, David says, I'm almost ashamed to say I've lost count of my body count. Humble brag, David C. Come on, nobody's falling for it. Nobody's falling for it. That's my Trump. Sometimes I come out like sounding like Trump. It's horrible. So James says he's answered my question. Oh, we got a super chat from JB. Thank you so much. He said, I love my family, but they do have weight issues. Well, JB, you're really tearing me in two directions because on the one hand, I just want to like, just be like doubling down on my insults. On the other hand, I do appreciate it. But however, you can't love your family if, what did you call your sister? Like a fat blimp or something? Like seriously, you're basically insulting every single member of your family. I do appreciate the super chat, JB, but please gain some empathy and perhaps gain a deeper, more loving connection with your family who probably feel very insulted and judged and misunderstood by you.
Hey, those of you who can't afford to do a super chat, you can go ahead and hit that like button now.
Thanks, David. And thank you, JB. I do appreciate it. Just we got to, massively agree to disagree on this one because, fat phobia, it's not cool.
with this fat phobia, like it's okay if you don't want to be attracted to fat people or whatever. That's your choice, but don't assume that everybody thinks that way because they really don't.
They don't. Okay. And guess who's having more sex? So Lee Horn says, I met a girl at my gym many years ago. Never felt a girl liked me more than her. And I like her too. So intense. I still see her sometimes at the gym. Mutual limerence, but she always had a boyfriend. Well, Lee Horn, I'm going to take you at your word that there was this intense connection between the two of you. Mutual limerence, perhaps she was attracted to you, and perhaps you were attracted to her in some deep way, and she could never act on it because she had a boyfriend. It's possible, okay? It's possible you're just seeing things, reading into things. However, it is possible that, two people are simply very attracted to each other and feel something intense attraction. So it's absolutely possible.
So what did you do about it?
Yeah, what'd you do about it? And Fredo says, what's wrong with calling people fat? I hope you're joking, Fredo. If you're really that ignorant, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, unless you're like a fat positive activist, I don't know, maybe you are. Maybe you're trying to get us to think on a deeper level about this. Dad, do you mind not doing that? Do you mind not doing that? Okay. So, all right, guys. This guy's PP says, grow up and be clitorate. 100% PP. Daniel says, not gonna lie, the questions here are hilarious, though. Thank you, Daniel. Okay. Daniel says, question, is it possible to date a girl who won't gossip? Good if she likes you, bad if she doesn't, to her friends group. I dated a girl and she talked wonders of me until I told her I'm not interested. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Daniel. This sounds like a massive humble brag. I dated a girl and she talked wonders of me until I told her I'm not interested. So you got in the, I rejected her. Look how high value I am. You got in the, she was bragging about me to all her friends. Very good. You got in the totally unrelated random question. Or am I seeing it wrong?
I have a statement question regarding that.
Okay.
So, as guys, we know that like women, get together and they talk.
Okay.
And we don't. We get together and we, play video games or shoot baskets or something.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Play cards. So, when we know that women get together and they talk about the men that they're dating or whatever, it seems like we as men assume that they're talking about kinds of things about the relationship that we would talk about.
Like, what's that?
In other words, like if a bunch of women got together and talked about men, how men would talk about their women, they would be like talking about their bodies, and the size of their penises, or the shape of their butts, and like giving lurid details of the sexual encounters.
Do men do that though? I feel like all I say is like, dude, she's so hot, and then like that's the extent of it. Or do they actually go into detail?
Well, sometimes you have a sexual encounter that's like worthy of relating to other people. Okay. But it has to be some kind of like freaky deaky wild night, Okay. So, and I'm guessing, and this is like where I'm questioning, that when women get together and talk about their relationships, they're talking more about things that are of interest to them that have no real interest to men, like the romance and like the conversation. And
they talk about sex too, though.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, a lot of women, they're not going to go into like great detail unless you're kind of like have a friend who's also like really comfortable with sex as well.
Are they going to say like this guy's dick was so long or thick or whatever?
They will say that. They will be like, yeah, he had like a really big dick or whatever, and it'll be like, it was like this big, whatever. He's very big. They will say all that. Yeah.
Well, they talk about like he went down on me,
Yeah, they would say that.
give me a rim job.
I doubt they would say that, but they might, depending on how rowdy and drunk he was getting.
What if he only lasted like
Yeah,
pump splurge?
yeah, they would say that.
Splooge, I guess.
They would say it, but of course it depends on like the pairing of friends and everything. But yeah, they would definitely talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess maybe they do get more into the.
Oh yeah, they get into it
Into the
because the
details
girls
than I
want to hear
thought.
the details. The girls aren't like guys who are just like, I see, very good, she was hot, moving on, whatever. They're like, oh, okay, start from the beginning, let's hear it. And they want the details.
Do they like exaggerate things to like?
Yeah, I think they do a little bit.
Make themselves seem.
Oh, for sure, they definitely do some exaggerating. I think at times, depending on the personality, but it's not uncommon. I'll tell you that.
Do they talk about like what the guy was wearing? If he had a nice car or a nice watch. Or
yeah, they would talk about that. Yeah.
Nice shoes.
Yeah. For sure.
So. A nice beard, perhaps.
Yeah, they would be like, oh yeah, I'm like super into beards. So he had like yeah, for sure. I could hear it. I could see it and hear it happening for sure. So is that like shocking? Did you think like they were just talking? But they also will go into detail about like, the relationship and like if he's like horrible to her or whatever. So. Software Tool says, wouldn't a woman be worried though, like if they tell all their friends he's good in bed? Unfortunately, my guy, I hate to burst your bubble. No, they wouldn't be worried about that at all. Because if a woman hears that a guy is good in bed, that woman is not like, how do I get a piece of that? Okay. It's just, they got so many infinite options. They feel, when the time is right and I'm single and I'm horny, I'm sure I'll be able to find someone who's good in bed. I'm not like, oh my God, he's the only one who's good in bed that I've heard of in the last 50 years. Like, I gotta get a piece of this guy. Right. They're not desperately horny like men are. They're actually pretty like topped up a lot of the times because they usually have like some friends with benefits or a situationship, in the back pocket for when they are horny. So.
If they have some guy who's good in bed that they know, they can pretty much call him up anytime if he's single.
Yeah. Pritam says, what's your take on girls having lots of male best friends? Dude, what's your take on that?
I don't care.
I pretty much have lots of male best friends, right?
What's the difference if her friends are male or female?
Yeah. I think it's fine, Pritam.
I guess Freeton or whatever his name is like jealous.
Yeah.
If his girl is going out with a male friend. I mean, you can feel a little jealous. It's okay. Just don't let that make you act like an idiot. An idiot. In fact, your girl will probably like it if you're a little bit jealous when she goes out with her male friend, as long as you don't, go overboard. Try and curtail her freedom, destroy her friendships.
King Offline TV says, how do you explain so many women in casual relationships? Well, good question, King Offline TV.
I think I know.
Okay.
Maybe this is a quiz.
Quiz question, guys. But all right, let's hear your answer, David.
Okay, so you're not making it a quiz.
The only problem is, I feel like the answer I'm going to give is so simple, it might not be super educational.
Okay.
What is it, Dad? What's
I think the main answer is that they are just kind of placeholding until they can get in a non-casual relationship.
Yep. True. And sometimes they want the casual relationship to turn into more, but
Yeah.
they're just kind of trying to boil the frog.
A lot of times.
Yeah. And sometimes she doesn't think the guy she's in the casual relationship with is like good enough for marriage material, but she thinks he's like good enough in bed that she's willing to overlook his like bad points, and just because she feels safe and comfortable and they have a good sexual connection. So it's like, I wouldn't want to marry this guy. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with this guy either, because I'm looking for someone better, more compatible, but sexually it's not bad. It's hard to find a good man. It's hard to find, so that's kind of how they think about it. So those are the main reasons, to be honest. King Offline TV. Okay, Andretta. Oh, Andretta, are you a woman or are you a man? Let me know. King Offline saying, read the previous question first, Victoria. It is a part of the previous question. Okay. I'll try to find your previous part. I don't see the previous part, unfortunately, King Offline. I'm not seeing it. Sometimes YouTube like censors certain questions, so apologies for that. So Clancy Scree says, there's a girl I'm attracted to, however, she happens to be my ex's best friend. Would her best friend be okay with me dating her, or do women have a bro code like men? Yeah, pretty much. She might do it, but yeah, women do have a bro code like that. Like they would kind of think, oh, that's really not cool. That's definitely not cool. If you're hot enough, she might like ruin the friendship and date you or whatever, but yeah, it would be very frowned upon. Eric says, yeah, no kidding. I was asking about jawline exercises to look smacks. Check out this guy, Revive Mouth Guard. I was reading his stuff last night. I can't tell if this guy is completely crazy or he's some kind of genius. I did buy his mouth guard. So, check out that guy. Michael Game says, yo, a baby, congrats. Stumbled on your old vids. Thought I'd pop in, show some love. Thank you so much, Michael Games. I do really appreciate that. David Z says, Revive mouth guard. It's like this, Revive. Check him out. Ken Lever, I think his name is. Oh, no. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no, not my beauty. Trisha, hi, you. Hi, the beauty. Hi, the Trisha. Oh, what a cutie. Okay. So, all right, guys, any further questions, or should we?
Oh my gosh, she's got a hold of the guitar.
ZL Clutchy says, things to avoid when attracting a woman. Avoid all the male blind spots, that's for sure.
Can I break in and revisit the topic?
Yes, please.
So, when I was, like college age, 20s, whatever,
Get the dresser.
and a woman was like,
Gotta get that baby.
oh, like, I'd like to be friends or whatever, I'd say, I have enough friends, right? Any other guys feel like that out there? Like, I don't need a friend. I need a girlfriend or, somebody to have sex with or, whatever. Right, because this question came up before about like when women ask, to be friends or want to be friends or whatever. So, but the women were more like, I don't have enough friends, right? But what I didn't realize back then, but I realize now, is the women don't need another person to have sex with. They have more than enough people willing to have sex with them. So what they want is, friends or, long-term relationships, right?
Mm.
So if you ever have that same feeling that I have, like, why would I want to be friends with a woman? I have enough friends. What I need is a romantic partner. You might be able to understand why a woman would be like, someone to have sex with. I don't need someone to have sex with. I have enough people to have sex with. What I need instead is a friend, somebody who's going to be there for me for the long term.
Yeah, a friend that turns sexual as well. It's very good.
Hi.
Oh, that's my beauty. Daniel R says, do girls sense jealousy from men to other men? How do you perceive it? Like snarky comments, gossip, etc. Would think men suck at hiding this to women. Yeah, girls like jealousy. A lot of it, okay? Not all of it. Like, for example, let's say you're in a relationship and you're so jealous that you try to like control her to the point where you won't let her go out or something, like with your friends. They're not going to like that. But in a small, tiny way, they might get some like erotic charge from it, but very subconscious, okay? But in general, if a girl sees two guys getting jealous over her, it's hot. She likes it. She smiles. She enjoys it. The competition, it's fun. That's a big aspect of romance novels. Okay? She loves to see two guys compete. Think about it. Jacob and Edward. In every single romance novel, there's always a love triangle. There's always two guys, Peeta and
Thor's brother.
Yeah, what's his name again? In the Hunger Games? Miley Cyrus's ex-husband or whatever. Yeah, there's always a love triangle. There's a somewhat nice guy.
Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's bringing like the relationship qualities more. He's still hot, but he's bringing like relationship qualities. And then there's like the more alpha Chad dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like the classic thing. They like the competition. They like having their options. They enjoy it. I used to fucking love it. Okay, I'll tell you that much.
I never understood the attraction of Peeta. He seems like such a
Peeta and Gale. Thank you, Eric. Yes.
right?
I thought Peeta was actually better, to be honest.
Peeta a wuss?
No, he's not a wuss at all.
He's
He's
a
like,
wussy boy?
he's not at all. He's like defending, he's like providing for his family of like 15 people by being a hardworking baker. He's not a wuss at all, if I remember correctly from the book.
I don't know. Well, I'm not talking about the book. I'm talking about the movie.
White Knight Media, he was a wuss. Why did he say that? What did he do that was being a wuss? He cried a lot? I think I didn't perceive him as a wuss. Okay. I think it was like kind of like Katniss. She couldn't like accept someone emotionally available because she was like so traumatized or whatever. Clancy Screed says, who is Peeta and Gale? They're the love triangle from, I shouldn't say love triangle. The main characters from the Hunger Games, okay?
His name is Gale?
Gale, yes. Dude, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Oh, Eric G says in the books it was emphasized he was also very charismatic. Yes, you're right, Eric. I remember that.
Peeta is charismatic?
Yeah.
In the movie, it seems kind of milquetoast.
Yeah, I mean, the casting of Peeta maybe wasn't the best. But Eric says Peeta is actually a fighter and has raw strength. Exactly. I was definitely team Peeta. But... Beauty, are you okay, my beauty? In Lost, there's Jack and Sawyer competing for Kate.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
Jack and Sawyer.
100%, Eric G. Yes, exactly.
You got to be. I think we could discuss this before, and I think you surprised me. I would definitely peg you as a Sawyer woman.
I hated Sawyer. I love Jack.
That's crazy.
Really? Yeah.
No.
No.
You like the bad boys usually.
No, Sawyer was just a little too like sleazy. I didn't. He wasn't my type. He didn't do it for me.
What was the question for me?
David C said, true for Korean dramas too. Always a love triangle. Yep. ZL Clutch, he says it goes back to evolution and that unbreakable commitment and devotion to the woman. So that makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Beardo.
All right, I gotta go.
Okay. Bye, David. I love you.
I thought you had a question for me.
I did, but I can't find it now. I was looking for it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's this, David. How to know if she is really into you? By the way, she gives mixed signals.
The guys on your channel have a big problem with this.
I know. That's why I wanted you to answer this one. That's why you need to answer this.
Ask her out.
Don't scare the twisters. Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted him to answer that. Daniel R asked a good question. I heard many times girls like mysterious guys. How would you define a mysterious man? How much is too much or too little? Things? Pretty much, I feel like they're talking about someone like very good looking, but who's kind of like almost like hyper masculine. Like he doesn't talk much. So it's like the girl's saying, oh, does he have a tortured past? Like what's going on with him? It's like, you know, he's kind of like stoic, strong, silent. I wouldn't try to be mysterious because most guys are going to overdo it and just be quiet and never ask the girl out and never escalate or initiate. So I wouldn't try to be mysterious. If you are mysterious, which is what people usually call shy people who are good looking, I think, keep going with it. You know what I'm saying? But don't try to be mysterious. It's not a good strategy. You know, if you don't have like the supermodel looks, probably won't work for you, to be honest. So let's see. Ryu says, I agree with your husband in terms of PETA. Interesting.
I have another question.
Oh, okay. Yes, please. Let's hear it.
If they can hear me.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you though.
The question comment is: it seems like women don't even know sometimes if they're into a guy or not until the guy like makes a move.
Of course.
Is that true? And can you explain what's going on there?
Yeah, I can instantly explain because we don't just.
Sure, you might want to repeat what I said, but I'm not sure they can hear me.
All right. Can you repeat the question?
Huh?
Can you repeat the question? Yeah. Okay, I'll repeat it for you. Okay. Well, to summarize what dear Beardo said, he said that. Oh, hell no, I'm blanking it.
It seems like women don't even know if they like the guy or not.
It seems like women don't even know if they like the guy or not until the guy actually approaches them.
Yeah, makes a move. Women always talk about chemistry.
Yes.
Talk about chemistry. It's like that woman's either hot or she's not hot.
Yes. Well, it's not exactly like that. I feel like, perhaps this would be a good way of explaining it. Like,
you and I are listening.
Like, I feel like, I don't know what the perfect analogy would be, but I like to use the analogy of like Harvard, right? It's like you get a huge pool of applicants. Okay, some you're just like, absolutely not. This guy has all like, C's. Like, he's not coming to Harvard. Then you get a bunch of people and they're all like valedictorians and they all got like perfect 1600 on the SATs, right? Now, how are you going to decide amongst the two of them? Okay, so it's like if you meet the threshold for like the woman's looks threshold, right? Now she's got to like decide amongst you all. So she's kind of like, all right, let's see what you got. Like, are you confident? Do you have a good personality? Are you charismatic? Do you know the female gaze? Are you fun to talk to? Let's hear it. Let's see it. It's not just like you're hot, therefore I will fuck all 1 million of you. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's probably quite possible. Dude, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Do like the guy's intentions come into it? Like she's kind of like, oh, like I could be into him, but like maybe he's just playing around and not serious.
Yeah, it depends what they're looking for. Because it's like girls when they're really young, they they don't have good radar. They don't know like if the guy's serious or not serious. They assume everyone's serious. They assume everyone wants to marry them, you know, and they're kind of like gonna boil the frog, basically. Well, maybe not, but the girls when they're younger, they don't know how to like put these guys into categories or anything.
You know the song "Straight Up Now Tell Me" by Paula Abdul?
Yeah, straight up now, tell me, do you want to be big? And you, yeah, I know it for sure.
Interesting song. Like it came out when I was young, so it didn't really make any much sense.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like a older girls, like a more mature girls, because it's like they've been played a lot, and so they wised up. But like the young girls, they don't know what's happening.
Because she's basically saying like I'm into you, but only if you're serious. If you're not serious, then I'm not into you.
That happens like after a while, where the girl's like, "Yeah, I can't take this anymore." It's just like been played one too many times. They start being smart. So Sean says, I think YouTube is censoring my question, so I'll be more cryptic. I have a friend whose girl's kink is to have fireworks at the same time, and she can't feel like he's holding back. Any advice? I mean, why not like make sure she's basically like 80% up the runway, or even 90%, or even 95% up the runway when he does the penetration? And then if you're saying like he can't really last that long, then you should be able to time it pretty well. Okay. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm sure most girls would really like that if by the time you're penetrating them, she's like wanting it so bad. She's had so much foreplay. She's so into it. She's so ready. That's when it's going to feel the best anyway. So does that make sense, Sean? Muhammad said, is it normal for women to keep breaking up over petty things? Or was my ex immature? It depends, Mohammed, because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty immature that she didn't just move on. You know, if she's breaking up with you multiple times, it's like, you know, that's kind of silly. However, these petty things you're saying, they might not have been petty. So give us an example. Borchell says, should the husband be completely honest to his wife, or should he be quiet on topics that he knows she will not handle them emotionally? Well, Borchell, you need to, and this is going to be difficult. You know, here are your options, okay? This is what like all the men in the chat will probably say. No, you should never be honest. You should lie. You should say the woman is always right. You definitely should never, ever, ever tell her your true thoughts or it will be over for you. Okay? So that's the male perspective. And you guys can all like high five with like that baseline, base level knowledge that is not very good. Or you can try to take a much more difficult path, which is understanding her perspective, understanding the female gaze so deeply that you actually can be honest because you hear the music behind the words that your wife is saying. For example, okay? Perfect classic example. The wife says, I mean, this isn't even a thing much anymore, right? Does my butt look fat? The man thinks to himself, yes, you could stand to lose a few pounds. So the man simply says, yes, honey, just work out in the gym if you want to lose weight. When we met, you were thinner. I'd prefer you to be thinner. Men like thin women. No fat chicks.
Unskilled.
Unskilled. Okay. Obviously, the woman is going to be, what? I was just being honest. Okay, guys, it's fucking stupid. Okay. However, if you hear the music behind the words, she's saying, and this is very common for all women, so it's not something you're just going to have to learn like 1 million times. It's just like one pattern for all women. One pattern to rule them all, guys. She says, do I look fat? Knowing about the female gaze, you know that just like men's worth, they're told it depends on like their usefulness, right? And like their ability to make money. Women are told their worth is based on their ability to stay thin, young, and beautiful. So, it would be like you saying, would you love me like if I lost my job? And the woman saying, actually, honey, I would trade up for a man with more bills in his wallet. Okay? And then, oh no, I'm so hurt. Wow, I'm giving you the silent treatment now. Okay? So knowing and having empathy for the female, thank you, for the female gaze, you can say, my woman, she's feeling very insecure. She is thinking that perhaps I no longer love her because her looks may have declined in value. Therefore, I will treat her the same way I would want to be treated and reassure her that no matter what she weighs, no matter if she's gained a few pounds or lost a few pounds, her beauty is so much deeper than, the amount of fat on her butt or whatever, and that he loves her as a person. She's always going to be beautiful to him and things like this. Okay. That's what the woman wants to hear. And that is the skillful way. When you understand the female gaze, you understand their insecurities, you understand the points of, insecurity, and you can simply speak to that rather than giving your brutally honest, amateur as fuck male gaze approach, which is saying, but I love thin women and I don't care about my wife, therefore I will say I love thin women. Okay, do you see how stupid that is? So level up and don't cross the arms and say, I can never be honest. I love brutal honesty. I love hurting people's feelings with my brutal honesty. Okay? Wise up, guys. It's unskillful as fuck.
Question.
Yeah.
So, what if your wife says something like, do I look like I've gained weight? And you hear the music behind the words.
Yes.
And you do notice that she does look like she's gained a little weight.
Okay.
But you answer truthfully, you look beautiful. You look amazing.
That's good.
I love the way you look.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, but then you're not answering the question. What if she says,
well, if
I
she's
didn't ask that question.
Yeah.
I said, can you tell that I've gained some weight?
Well, the thing is, if you say you look beautiful and she's kind of looking for like an emotionally, like, what's the word, like satisfying answer, she would just say, and you say you look beautiful, she'll probably be like, thank you. However, if she really wants more truth and she keeps pushing, you could say something like, ideally you would have internalized the female gaze, but if you really haven't, and she keeps pushing, it's possible she really does want an honest answer. Okay.
What if she says, do I look better now than last year? And in your logical brain, you're thinking, well, I mean, like she looks like the tiniest bit less good than last year, but next year she might look even better. But like, what am I supposed to say here?
Well, that would be very unskillful to simply say, well, it's like the male way of thinking, it's not I mean, this is not the time to like pick apart someone with logic. It's really the time to hear the music behind the words.
Mhm.
If she really pushes, she might actually want the honesty, but it's silly to focus more on the details rather than the deeper meaning of what she's saying. I mean, it's like the same question they always have with like women are saying, if I was a worm, would you love me? It's like, a worm. Really? A worm? Worms are slimy. Worms are gross. No, I would not love a worm.
Oh, no.
I will throw a worm back in the dirt. Birds eat worms. It's like, you're not really thinking right here, guys. Please, like, have you ever read a piece of poetry? Have you ever read a short story? Have you ever watched a play? Turn that on, please, and stop saying, I know what worms are. Worms are a small object that live in the dirt. It's like, are you stupid? Like, no.
I can't F a worm.
Exactly. So it's like, worms aren't hot. Worms aren't tens. In fact, worms are sub-10. Worms are minus tens. Therefore, no, I would not love you.
So you are in favor of the I don't know, it's strategy to, like, instead of answering the question with the utmost literalness, to instead kind of reframe the question to understand it
Yes, reframe.
in a context of what the question behind the question is.
Yes, exactly. Yes. For example, with the worm question, she's saying, do you just love the 4 lumps? Do you just love the, 2 circles and a triangle? Would you still love me when I'm not young and beautiful? Do you love me? Is that not important to you guys? Do you guys have like no soul, no heart? Do you actually not understand the meaning of real love, that there's more to a person than the 2 lumps on the top and the 2 lumps on the bottom? Like, please, like, seriously, people are, deep souled people. Can you love them for like their inside? The woman's insecure about that. She wants to know, do you love me for me? Okay. And I think you guys want to know that too. Do you just think I'm a money pit? Do you just think am I just a paycheck to you? Am I just a wallet to you? Or do you actually care? Do you actually accept me? Do you actually love me? Even if I was poor, even if I had nothing, okay, even if I wasn't useful, would you love me? Women want to know the same thing, okay? They're just a little more creative in some ways. Say, do you love me if I was a worm? Brilliant. Okay.
What if you're about to, getting into like amorous activities with your wife, and
Yeah.
she says, "Did you think about the family dog while you're away in Florida on work?"
Brilliant question. Yes, I didn't want to mention that, dude, because I didn't want to get outed, but I didn't ask that about David. That's someone else that we know. So anyway, guys, does that make sense to you all? Okay. I want you guys to be Shakespeare, not the average Redditor. Do you know what I'm saying? Be Shakespeare. Talk about beauty and poetry and the soul and chemistry and all that stuff. Don't talk about, you guys know,
Soulmate connection,
soulmate connection,
emotional connection.
Don't talk about the average. You guys know the average Redditor on TikTok? Oh my gosh, he is the most hilarious guy ever. Leave, the logic, the logic that is completely devoid of all emotional context or, subtleties and tones. Leave that for your computer programming job or whatever, okay? But leave it out of the bedroom, that's for sure.
Why would somebody if your wife is about to have sex, why would she ask you if you thought about the family dog while you were away?
Because she's fucking on to you. And she knows that you're like a total POS and that you actually don't care about her and you're using her as your bang maid all day, every day, therapist, mother, slave, nymph and a virgin, and all that.
So if you, as the husband, care about the family dog, then you, by extension, care about the family, and then by extension, care about her.
Yeah, if you don't care about your family's dog, then you're probably not a good person. So she's on to you. So yeah. I mean, must love dogs, am I right? If you don't love dogs, you are crazy. Seriously. Oh, Clancy's created a great one. If she keeps asking for the truth about her weight, would it be acceptable to compliment both the aspects of lighter and heavier weight and how I would love her in both ways? Excellent answer. A plus. Yes, I would say this made a big impression on me when I was young. My dad always used to say about my grandfather and my grandmother that whenever she would ask if she gained a few pounds, he would say, "More of you to love." Now, when I was very young, that made a big impression on me. Okay. That just goes to show you how deep, body image issues run for girls at a young age. They know they pick up very, very young that their worth is their body. Okay. First of all, a lot of parents are explicitly telling them that no one will love you if you're fat. Okay. So it's very speaking like deep to the heart. If you say, I will love you no matter what, you're beautiful both ways, more of you to love. Okay, it's very powerful. So yeah.
Is this live going past midnight?
No, it will not go past midnight. Borchel, if you still don't understand after all that, he says, so technically with strategy, twisting truth, you're in a relationship with logic, with hard logic, which is completely devoid of emotional context, which is actually not logic or logical in a relationship, because relationships are based and built off tone, context, emotions. That's a very important part of relationships. Okay. So if you're trying to cling to hard logic devoid of all that, then yeah, you don't really have a chance to stay in a long-term relationship unless you get with someone else who is possibly autistic. Is that insulting? But perhaps you guys would actually be a good match. Errol says, how do you save their feelings while also saving them from becoming fatter? You don't worry about that, Errol. You worry about yourself. And if you just can't deal with anyone being fat, okay, like, did you realize, like, in a relationship, she could be like, become like wheelchair, like in a wheelchair, okay? You might have to deal with things that are far worse than like her becoming slightly fatter, okay? And if you have kids, guess what? Oh my God, she's going to gain weight in pregnancy and everything like that. So try to just get with someone extremely thin and filter for that completely, because you're just going to horribly mess with someone's head by constantly asking them to change their appearance. So if you can't accept her, you know, perhaps you can look smack yourself so hard that you can only date in a pool of supermodels or whatever, or very thin women. You'll have a lot of competition for that because you guys fucking love thin women. It's a health issue, not a looks issue. Oh my God, please fucking shut up, please. Okay. Jack says, I'm 34. I've never had anyone reciprocate my feelings. I don't know what to do. Women just seem like they are never interested in me. Okay, Jack, it's probably both looks and your behavior. You should get a consultation and get some help quick. Okay, there's a lot of things that you could change big time, I'm sure, and that you could get much better results. Okay, it might be a long journey, but you're probably making some big mistakes. Okay, and we could fix them.
Life-changing. Life-changing. What did you recently get the testimonial? It was the best $60 person had ever spent in their whole life.
Yes, that's what somebody recently sent me an email the other day saying that was best $60 they ever spent. However, unfortunately, I took the consultations down the other day because it's not really worth it for me to do it for $60 because I have to like sometimes get childcare. I have to pump milk. It's a lot of work. So I basically do them that cheap so I can talk to you guys and just like meet you all. So
Gonna have to up the price.
I wanted to up the price, but I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to I don't want to be like all these dating coaches who charge like exorbitant fees, but honestly, I'm probably better than a lot of them. Okay.
Is $80 exorbitant if it changes the person's life?
Yeah.
You really should charge more.
Yes. All right. Okay, I got only a few minutes left, guys. Borchel says, I did not even mention fat. My point is, if your spouse was sexually assaulted as a kid and is looking for an answer from you, but if you tell them the truth, they will endure one more trauma. What do you mean? Like they're looking for an answer from you? Like, don't they know they were sexually assaulted? Or I don't understand. Mr. Bell says, what's the best way to build a connection and trust over text? I recently got a girl's number, but I never get to see her due to our work. I don't want to call because it's too soon. Well, can you guys can you start conversation, reference something, do you work with her? Yeah, so you work with her, send her something funny relating to what's happened at work, like something you talked about at work, just kind of do a little light chatting and then ask her to hang out. Um, Possibly plan a date outside of work. If that's too direct, you guys can go out with some work friends, but you want to basically meet up in person. You don't have to call, but you do have to plan something to meet up in person. Cringer says, I'm in a friend zone where I feel I serve the purpose of giving male attention, flirting, some touching, intimacy. But when I push things further physically, she says no. Should I cut ties with her? Yeah. Mm, I'll ask David this one, but I mean, it doesn't seem like. But she likes flirting, touching, intimacy. So that's kind of a lot. So what does she say? Is she like, no, I have a boyfriend? Is she like, no, I'm seeing someone? No, I have a situationship. No, I don't want to be in a long-term relationship with you. Like, what does she say to you? Does she say anything? And, you know, does she talk about it at all? But if it's not doing anything for you, I would just get rid of it. Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of flirting, some touching, intimacy. So what do you mean by intimacy? So Borges has a solution on how to overcome it, constantly asking for you to resolve it, as for years you helped your spouse to overcome many other things. So she wants to help you resolve her trauma from that. Like perhaps you could set her up with a sex therapist who specializes in this kind of thing. Like there's a lot of them that do. I don't really think you're the person to help her overcome it. I mean, you kind of have to have some specialized knowledge about that. Like I would maybe, if you were going to be really nice, you could research a therapist for her and set her up with an appointment. I mean, that would be super nice, I think. Base commenter says, I asked a woman out at a party. She told me she needed to think about it and to ask her again in 30 minutes. When I approached her again, she seemed very happy but turned me down. What do you think? It's just kind of like normal woman at a party behavior, okay? They got a lot of options. They're, not too serious about meeting people at a party necessarily. So this is very normal. I would just accept that these things happen. I would try approaching her again later. I would try approaching her before she leaves and just being like, put your number in my phone and trying to get her number. Okay. But yeah, I mean, she doesn't seem like she's too serious about you or possibly anyone at that party. But the fact that she needed to think about it means perhaps it was her way of kind of punting and just giving herself some time to steel herself up to reject you, or perhaps she actually was thinking about it and she did kind of like you, but then just simply decided against. All right, guys. Well, I got 2 minutes. Thank you, Amorelli. Hagen says, what should I do if her parents are too conservative? They don't allow her to go out. I would try to date someone else. I would. Scary. They're going to be controlling her for as long as they want to. It's sad. Thank you, Eric. Guys, you're engaging in some real male blind spots here with the kidnapper and break into her house. It says, why would my ex keep sharing posts about my culture when I was the only connection she had to it? Perhaps she became interested in it, but perhaps it kind of became like a fetish for her, honestly. Software tools, you know the average Redditor? All right, guys, I'll take one last question, then I got to go, everyone. So thank you so much for joining my lives. Thank you for bearing with me as I ranted and raved and insulted. And I'm sorry to the one person I really insulted badly, Errol. My bad. I just got a little defensive about fat people. Renew the R wand. Thank you so much. Renew the R wand. You are too kind. He said, thank you once again, Vic and Beardo. Learn something new every time. Thank you so much, Renew the R wand. It's always great to see your name in the chat. I do appreciate you very much. Emmanuel Alex says, V, can you explain some of the proper dating education? Emmanuel, get a session with me and I will explain it all. But it's a lot because that involves like every aspect of the dating process, right? David C says, love your lives, Vic. Hopefully I can catch the next one. Well, thank you so much, David C. White Knight Media says, thank you for helping me understand women more. Thank you, White Knight Media, because I know you were a bit resistant to my answers at first, but I'm glad you learned something. Hey, it's Nick Knack. Oh my God. Just as I'm about to go. Nick Knack is certified female enters the chat. Lucky Prime. Thanks, everyone. Cringe. Borchel, Emmanuel. Based. Real. Software tools. Much appreciated. Thank you all to my super chatters. You are awesome. Everybody, consultations, links in the bios in my videos. I shouldn't even keep the link up because I don't have much time. All right, guys. Bye, everybody. You can get the consultations by searching it out. $60 in the grand scheme of things for dating coaches. That's pennies, guys. Well, perhaps those annoying thing to say. I don't know, but let's just say they charge a lot more, right? All right, guys. Goodbye, everybody. Have a wonderful night. And remember to try to understand the female gaze through whatever means possible. Okay? Bye, everyone.